It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plots Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Tradition Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Last show of the year.
Last show of the year, and here we are.
Here we are.
Thawing out. It wasn't too bad.
No, it was cold, but I'm pouring coffee. Hey.
I already poured mine.
Yeah, I brought you a thermos.
You did? You know what? There's nothing better than getting out. And was that not a beautiful kind of a sunrise?
Hang on, I'm pouring my coffee.
I know you are. You're letting everybody hear it.
That's right. Yeah, it was, man. It was a great sunrise, man. It was beautiful.
It was coming up through the snow.
I never thought in my wildest dreams, when we talked about going ice fishing this weekend, that I would be up at the butt crack of dawn, getting up before daylight, actually, and getting out and going ice fishing.
That was not the butt crack of dawn. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you what.
When I woke up, it was dark.
Yes. Well, it's been welcome to my world.
Yeah, it was dark. It was definitely dark.
But yeah, we did some ice fishing this morning. Mm-hmm. You and I got up. We went out and gave Randy Duncan a call.
Yeah, give Tim Ford a call. Couldn't rouse Tim out,
but we got Randy Duncan to come out, and you know what? It was fun. It's always fun to fish with Randy.
You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates.
And you know, we were already out on the ice, and we knew exactly when he pulled up. Mm-hmm. It's just Randy.
Yeah, right on.
I looked and I said, "Hey, that must be Randy."
And lo and behold, it was.
It was, right?
Yep, he was rocking the hat with flaps and rocking the camouflage orange.
The Linden hat with flaps.
Mm-hmm. No, that was lug nuts.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was lug nuts. Yeah, it had a big L on there.
But I thought it was Linden. Okay.
That's good.
Linden, lug nuts.
It's all the same.
It is,
yeah,
right?
So, yeah.
But here we are. We went last show of the year.
Yeah.
Talk about a few things.
Show 445.
445.
You know, you realize a year from now we're going to be rocking up on almost episode 500?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to put us somewhere. I think we timed this out that we're going to have our 500th episode. We might be at ATA.
That or
shortly after.
Yeah, we're going to be real close. Yeah, it might be the episode before, after, during. Who knows? But it's going to be somewhere around there.
Right. So, but we were able to get out on the. We stopped at BB's Baits.
Yes. Oh, wait. No, you didn't tell the whole story. We stopped somewhere else before.
Oh.
We stopped and got breakfast.
You know, you are so happy that I got the wrong order. You're like just loving this.
McLovin' it. You're right,
you
man.
Are
I am McLovin' it. We stopped at McDonald's this morning for breakfast. I was buying.
You were.
You know?
And I ordered my usual.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I guess not, which I thought was my usual. I could have swore it was early.
Yours is number 8.
Yep.
It's always number 8. You ordered number 7.
I ordered number 7.
And you got waffles with wrapped up with eggs and sausage.
That's disgusting.
You got you a nice McGriddle.
I can't stand those.
Sausage and egg McGriddle. How was the McGriddle?
I ate it.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm going to eat it.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, especially when I'm buying.
Right? Well, that too. Good thing I didn't order 2.
So we pull up, he orders, and I go, "Oh, you're trying something new today." No, I've got my usual. Okay.
Then I looked in the bag.
You looked in the bag and go, "What is this?"
That's terrible.
I'm like, I told you ordered number 7. You didn't order number 8.
See? Mm-hmm. So anyways, we got past that disaster.
My breakfast was yummy.
Well, mine was 2. I'm not going to lie. The sausage, eggs, and cheese was good. Mm-hmm. Just not sandwiched between a waffle, pancake, or whatever it is.
All right.
Of course, my daughter loved it.
Yeah. You know what? And we didn't see that post until much later in the day after we'd already went live. So
right. So
should have went live when you opened that bag. I should have proved a point, but
no. You just keep pouring your coffee there, pal.
I am.
So we were able to get out this morning. Well, then we went to BB's Baits. Okay.
Yes, we did. That was a trip too.
Checked in with BB.
Before that, your truck got hit. That was a trip.
And you're just pulling all out the little tidbits.
It was a great morning, folks. I still wasn't quite awake at that point.
When throwing salt, don't hit my truck. Oh,
yeah.
And he hit my truck.
Yeah, a guy was throwing salt, and he salted your truck.
Yeah. Really? Can't miss the big red truck.
Left you a little salty.
Right?
So
Really?
Well, actually, we ought to really take a step back until this morning when you arrived. You got over here. I got my stuff ready, but we had to get my shanty out. Was that a chore or what?
That was a little bit of pirouetting.
Yeah.
With a little bit of balancing.
I felt like we climbed Mount Everest.
But we did it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that bad. You just had to do the usual. The best part is you knew exactly where it was.
Oh, yeah. In the back corner of the garage with a bunch of crap piled on it.
Right. But at least we knew where it was. We didn't have to take your garage apart to find it.
Nope.
We just had to get it out of the back of the garage to the front of the garage.
Yeah.
But we did it.
And it's a good thing we did.
And it was a good thing we did. Well, you know what? Actually, in the morning part,
it was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, it wasn't
bad.
But
But when it got about noon, 1 o'clock, just before we ended,
it was cold.
It was blowing. But so we got the sled out, the shanty, put it in the back of my truck.
Got breakfast. Went to
BB's. Got our
truck
bait.
salted, and then we got our bait.
So
yeah.
So then we went over to the Seven Lakes system, and we fished one of those many lakes in their area.
But we pulled in, and lo and behold, we're the first person there.
That was scary, dude. I don't know about you, but I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting people to be there.
Right.
And I'm like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, there's nobody here fishing.
Well, especially from what I seen this week. Last week at work at the TV station, we're on doing the news, and I checked the Bay City Skycam, which is on the Saginaw River. I'm like, hey, I said, we got ice. There's ice on the river because I can see the snow on the ice. It's not very thick, but I'm like, hey, we got ice. And within about 2 minutes of me saying that, all of a sudden, here comes a freighter up the river, busting all the ice. Blew the ice completely out. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, there went that. Less than a week, actually this week, yesterday, actually 2 days, it was 2 days ago, I saw shanties on the river. Same shot, same Skycam shot. And there's shanties. I said, oh, my Lord. We've got a moving river. And it's been less than a week. We had a freighter go up the river, and you people are putting shanties out. You guys are idiots.
Well, first ice is best ice.
First ice is dangerous ice.
Yeah, well.
Especially on moving water.
Right? Because, especially up there.
So, what were we talking about? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but we were the first ones at the boat ramp.
We were the first ones out of the boat ramp. So, yeah, you said you expected more people.
I was expecting more people. I was expecting...
me too.
I was like, okay. Then I started thinking, but then I saw where people had already gone out. So I'm like, okay, so the ice is thick. Thick enough to people are dragging sleds and stuff out there. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. But we, that's we checked it, and it was a couple inches thick. So I'm like, okay.
It was a good 3 inches thick.
It was definitely
3.5, maybe 4 in spots. The thing was, there's about 3 inches of good hard clear ice, and then we had an inch and a half of white ice on top of it. So it had 6-8 inches of snow on top of it too, and that was insulating. It made it a little slick. So,
and my cousin Dennis, who just got back from the UP, says that it was minus 20. With the warmest morning out hunting was minus 15.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, your cousin's up. He's up at your camp.
He was up at camp, and then he
wrapping up deer season.
Yep. Wrapping up deer season. So
very cool.
That's a little cold.
Right on.
But here
I expect a lot of people too. Because of that, because yesterday what I saw on the river, there was people everywhere.
Well, I saw in Holly, the little lake, as you go into downtown Holly,
right?
There was at least a half a dozen people on that small lake. So I was thinking, oh my gosh,
right?
There's going to be a ton of people out here. And here we are, first and foremost.
Yep, sun just coming up over the trees. I mean, just at the top of the
coming
tree.
up. Yeah,
beautiful morning.
We did a little video work. Mm-hmm. You were quite happy with the scenery and the shots you were getting.
It's what they call golden light. For anybody who's into photography or videography knows what that is, but for those who don't, the first hour and last hour of daylight is the best light to shoot in. It's got this golden quality to it, and it's just fabulous to shoot. And actually, that's what we caught today. So we got out there and hit it hard. So
right, exactly. And you know what? It was one of those things that at that time it wasn't windy at all. It was kind of nice.
No, it was 10 degrees.
Well, but after the last couple of days, it's pretty balmy.
Yeah. So we were at least above freezing.
Right.
So we get out there on the ice, get everything set up, shoot some video.
Call Randy.
Yep.
Well, we were doing our videos and making sure getting the video shots that you wanted. But then we were able to, we decided, hey, where we're going to go. Got the whole lake to ourselves.
Right on.
Lo and behold, as we're doing that, another couple pulled up. Actually, two other people. Yeah. 2 other vehicles pulled up about that time as we're starting to walk out to some spot that we picked. Mm-hmm. Just said, okay, here.
Yeah, let's check it out, see what's going on.
Right, exactly. And then one guy came, walked right by us and headed across the lake. and the other guy we talked to never hunted, never fished there before.
Right.
So we kind of gave him the layout of the lake as quickly as we could. So here's
this, that, the other.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, sure. And then he lo and behold went out there and chipped ice with a spud.
Yeah.
That's a long ways to go.
Yep.
But ours isn't that thick, so it's not too bad.
Wasn't too bad, right?
You're right.
I did tell him, I was like, hey, if you want to borrow one of our augers, because we had 2 augers with us.
Right.
It's like, if you want to borrow one, you're more than welcome to. He's like, no, I'll chip it through. Okay.
Yeah.
He did come back later in the day, though, and borrowed it.
He did.
when he started moving.
He did come back later in the day, and hey, can I borrow the auger? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So he punched a few more holes, and he was happy. But lo and behold, Randy shows up.
Yep.
We decided, okay, let's move. Mm-hmm. We let Randy pick the spot. Yep. Well, I tried to let Randy, but you guys were too busy talking.
You took off to go do something. Yeah.
I went to go get my phone out of my truck.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. I come back and said, what did you guys decide? Mm-hmm. No decision was made because you guys were reminiscing about whatever.
Yeah, we're catching up.
I'm like, all right, let's go out this way. Right about here. So lo and behold, we started fishing.
I'll tell you what, we're bumping up on the first break. We don't want to spoil everything here, so why don't we take our first break?
Let's do that. On the last episode of the year.
Yeah, we've got On the Ice. We're set up. We're ready to rock. So we're going to step outside. We're going to take our first break. We come back. We'll get into some fishing. Be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
We are back, and we're on the ice. Well, we're not on the ice. We were on the ice, but when we left you, we were on the ice.
We were on the ice. We decided to make a little change and kind of head to kind of knowing where there's a hole. Because we were in about 6 feet of water the first time.
6-8 foot of water, yeah.
Yeah, and then we moved a little deeper, went to 12 to 14. And Randy was there now with us, and we kind of set up shop. And being in the shanties that we were, we kind of positioned them so the wind was at our back and made it really nice. You kicked on the heater.
Yeah.
And
well, we left the front door open, too, so I could take and... sorry, guys, I'm pouring more coffee.
Yeah, you are pouring more coffee.
Finishing up what little I got left here. And so that way we could, sit across from each other and talk.
Right.
Even though we were in the shanties.
Right. And, we talked and we got the lines down and we started catching fish. Now, granted, we were catching the smaller size ones.
Right.
Nothing
gills.
Huge, some bluegills. But you know what? Randy said, hey, we caught about 3 or 4 or 5 when we started, and then Randy says, "Hey, I'll keep them." Mm-hmm. Okay, so
started putting them on the ice.
Started putting them on the ice for Randy because he's going to take them home, let his kids clean them. I'm sure he's going to help. But you know what? At that time, it was just about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're just starting to. The weather wasn't bad at all. We were just talking and having a good time on the ice and fishing and starting to catch the little ones and getting a few bites. There seemed to be coming and going.
Yeah, we moved out in deeper water.
Yep, we moved out in deeper water. But yeah, it was fun. Randy, when he catches a fish, can give you play-by-play.
And everybody knows about it.
Right? Some we can't repeat.
Right. If you were actually, we did do some live streaming.
We did 3 live streams from out there, and if you were on one of them,
you might have heard them.
Right. So that was pretty good. But yeah, catching those bluegills, and it's fun. It's just.
What did we wind up with total on the ice?
I think at least from if I remember right, Randy said there was like 30.
Okay.
There was 30 out on the ice for him.
Sorry, I'm taking my hat off, man. It's getting warm in here.
Getting roasty toasty?
Yeah, we didn't have that problem earlier.
No.
So
we had about 30 bluegill on the ice from all little different sizes. Actually, we practiced a little
QFMA.
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 Is it QF? No.
It sounds like QDMA.
Right.
Yeah. Quality Fish Management
Management
Association.
Yeah.
Okay.
We caught some really some smaller ones, and we
Yeah.
let them go to grow.
Let them go to let them grow.
Right, exactly. So we were having some fun out there. And
Lincoln Road would have been proud of us.
absolutely. And if Lincoln, you're listening, hope you're proud.
That's right.
But it was a good time to get out there and do some fishing. Like I said, Randy's play-by-play was awesome. We had some people come walking by. We had
Well, the first guy that came up that we offered the auger to, he did come back.
he did.
He's like, "Hey guys, you mind if I borrow that auger now?" I'm like, "No,
Right.
hey, no problem." It's like, yeah, that's more than welcome. Go ahead.
Right.
I'll offer some help to somebody out there and give them some pointers. And then we started talking about the hunting and the fishing there in the park because he'd just moved back to the area.
He moved back to the area from the Tawas area and kind of asking about the park and shooting ducks and deer hunting and yes. Just asking in general, getting the lay of the land because he just moved back here from the Tawas area.
Well, being out like that for the first time of the year, you and I haven't been out on the ice together in 3 years now.
So we figured it to be about 3 years when we went up over. I think Randy was right when we went over to Lake Fenton.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah, we were out there and
we didn't have any good ice last year, the year before last down here that we could get out on. We were supposed to do 2 ice tournaments with Cabela's.
Yep.
Up in Saginaw on the river, and both years they canceled because it was too warm.
And last year they were using boats.
Right, yeah, they actually use boats.
So can't do anything on the ice when you have no ice.
Right. So, it's been 2 years, 2 seasons. This would be the third season really since I've been out. And
really
it was good.
As the weather they're talking about, it looks like it's going to be cold for the next week.
Yeah, it's going to be making ice. But, sitting on the ice today, as time went on and we're looking down, we're fishing and jigging and talking, all of a sudden the whole, it's not really a floor, but the whole ice area that's inside the ice shanty started getting wet water. We had the heater going, but I don't know if it was so much that it really wasn't melting, I don't think.
You know what I think it was, actually?
The pressure pushing water up out of the hole.
There's that, but then also, because the sun did come out, don't forget the shanty's black.
Yep.
So I think it was the ambient heat of the heater, the sun in that square was just kind of melting everything in there.
Yeah, well, we weren't the only one. Randy had the same problem, and the guy that come over and borrowed the auger had the same problem.
Right. So they were just, that's one thing you got to look at. We were watching the ice the whole time. We didn't hear no cracking.
Didn't hear no, but, I did look at him like, I don't know, man.
Right.
What do you think about moving?
Right. But we were catching fish. You can't move when you're catching fish.
Well, yeah, unless you go through.
Right. So then you do a little scuba diving. But we had, as we were catching fish and throwing them on the ice for Andy and just talking and the people walking by. The best one is when the 2 gentlemen walked by and how'd you do? When you ask somebody how you did and one's a teenager, said great, and the other guy goes, no.
We didn't catch nothing.
Like,
yeah, I know what's going on there.
Right. Actually, if I remember right, those are the 2 that I saw. I think they walked the whole entire lake.
Really?
They actually started off on the other side of the boat launch.
Okay.
They jumped in there.
Okay, I remember those guys, yeah.
And I think they walked a perimeter of the lake.
What? Really?
Yeah. I was just like, Then the other gentleman who took off across the lake, he came walking by a couple hours later, and he left.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't think he limited it out.
No. And as we were leaving, there was quite a few people coming in.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys. They were on a different lake this morning.
Is that what he said?
The guy with the power auger?
Yeah.
They said they were at some other lake.
Okay.
And they got some, and then they had a power auger. And then when we were up on shore, there was another couple cars coming in. Mm-hmm. And when we looked back, there was 3 shanties out there when we left.
Okay.
So, I don't know, maybe everybody was late today.
Well, it's like we were talking earlier. You expect a lot of people. Being the last weekend, everybody's off work, generally speaking. Not everybody, but most people are off work for the weekend. It's the last Saturday of the year. Like we talked earlier in the week, hey, let's go ice fishing this weekend. And then you start thinking, well, man, it was pretty cold, and it takes time. As with us, we had to dig out that shanty. And if people have their gear put back, first time out, first ice, there's that whole thing. And it takes you half a day to get everything ready to go. That's what I did last night when I got home from work.
Yesterday, that's what I did. I looked at my garage and said, okay, I know my auger's on the right side. I know my bucket's on the left in the bag. It's like, okay, so then I walked to my garage and said, okay, here, and here. And put it all together, okay, here it is. But you're right, it's just that first time getting out there. And we were getting out there, and we didn't use any tip-ups this time. We didn't use any minnows. We were just using waxworms and spikes, just having some fun.
And actually, you had the best luck today, you and Randy. And was Randy using waxworms as well?
Yeah. I gave him the waxworms, and I was using waxworms.
I was using spikes, and I caught 2 fish.
You did.
I had bites, and I really thinking back and wondering, the reason I like to use spikes is because they're a lot tougher. They stay on the hook. You know, they don't mush when you put them on the hook.
Right?
You know, and turn to a wet, gooey thing in your hand like a booger, you know?
Yep.
On a hook. But I also wonder if that made it harder for the fish to get a hold of it, you know, because it was a little harder. Maybe they just give up on it instead of pulling and tearing at it. And then,
you know, that could be that, you know, because because fish are slower now.
Mm-hmm.
Just something to bite into.
Yeah.
And then that could really be. But then again, you had another point, is me and Randy kind of were in line.
Right.
And then you were on my right side in the shanty, which actually put you
3 feet.
3 feet to the right.
Yeah.
And maybe we were
on the edge of the weeds.
On the edge of the weeds, drop off something.
Yep.
Because we were fishing almost the same depth.
Yeah, we were. I was coming back 2 cranks off the bottom. You come back, you know, about 2 cranks off the bottom.
Right. So
I don't know.
But it's, you know, it's so hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, and then.
But I mean, literally, you know, I'm fishing here, you're fishing, just like we're sitting here.
Just like we're sitting here. That's how we're fishing.
And it's like, why am I not getting hits here and you're getting hits there? And he's right in line with you, you know, and he's getting hits. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
So
off the right side of the boat, off the left side of the boat.
Yep. Well, and the thing was too is both fish I caught were dinks.
Right.
So I just wondered if them smaller fish were coming out to feed further. Maybe if we were on the edge of the weeds or on a drop off, maybe they were venturing just a little bit further, being smaller, having to come out and get the food. You know, versus the bigger ones sitting back. You know,
yeah, it could be.
I don't know. I'm not a fisherman, so I don't know.
You know, it's one half dozen the other.
Right.
You know, we weren't using any minnows. Maybe if we were using minnows, we would have caught other fish.
Could have been.
But then again, I noticed when we were leaving, some guys were setting some tip-ups.
Okay.
As we were leaving. So I was like, interesting. But, yeah, we didn't use any minnows or nothing like that.
The other thing that I found enjoyable today was when we were live streaming out there, we were able to share a little bit of ice fishing with Tim C.S. from West Virginia, one of our fellow Mossy Oak Pro Staff guys. He's on the West Virginia team, and I think I assume the turkey hunting team,
right?
Because that's his specialty. And but we're still, we still both work for Mossy Oak. But we've been conversing back and forth, his live stream, our live stream,
right?
And he chimed in today, and it's like we're getting to show him a glimpse into our world of what ice fishing's all about. And lo and behold, we find out his wife has relatives, and she's from Michigan.
Yeah, from Taylor, Michigan. And so if they decide ever to come up in the cold weather months,
yeah, get them up here and put them on some hard water.
We'll let them walk on some ice.
Yeah, so we'll get them to help drown some worms through the holes.
And then you and I were able to teach David Boggs something.
That blew my mind. On the live stream, we're explaining things to Tim in West Virginia. And as we're talking and conversing, we're showing how we set the depth, how we find the bottom, and then we crank back up, and then how you can actually set on an ice rod, you can set the depth on the reel. There's like a little tab that you wind your line around, so that way it won't go out any further. And once that drops to that point, you trip the bail, you're set, and you can crank it back up when you catch a fish and let it back out. And it's always going to be at that depth.
It's always there.
But that tab. When we were talking about that, David Boggs, he says, man, I never knew that's what that, he said, I always wondered. He said, that never knew that's how you set the depth on an ice rod.
Right.
And I'm like,
David Boggs?
We taught him something?
I'm pretty sure the earth skipped a beat there.
I think so. It was, hey, Cutting Edge Radio Network. Thanks, man. We appreciate you guys chiming in here real quick on the live stream. So, but quick shout out to them. But yeah, it was being able to teach a couple of guys something. I mean, David, number one, teaching David something to me was astounding. But being able to share a glimpse, technology now is being able to live stream from your ice shanty, and show people what you're doing, somewhere else.
Absolutely. And that's like you said, that's technology at its finest, man.
It is.
Like last night we were watching Tim down in West Virginia talk about turkey calls.
Yeah.
Today he's watching us
ice fish. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, the other thing was, talking about technology, I almost lost technology today.
Yeah, you almost lost technology.
My phone. Man, I thought it went down the hole.
Dude,
and it was
I don't know how it got... You must have missed your pocket.
Yeah, I went to put it in my pocket. Because I had coveralls on. And I was taking and putting my phone into my hoodie along with my battery brick.
Oh, okay.
So
you were trying to... okay, so that's what you're trying to do. Okay. So then you must have did that and then missed your pocket.
Well, I had it in there.
Or did it slip out of your hoodie?
Well, remember, I went out and I had to use the little fisherman's tree. Well, actually, the ice.
Right.
So
okay,
I'm taking care of business out there behind the shanty. And
did you get lucky?
The only thing I can figure is, at that point, it slid out of my hoodie and went down in between my bibs and my pant leg.
Right.
And when I got back in the shanty, I'm just I'm like frantically searching for, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And I had to have you call it.
Well, I called it, and it started ringing, and we're kind of looking around. I'm looking at you going, well, it's ringing somewhere on you.
Hopefully it's not down in the hole. The ice hole. That was my biggest worry.
You've had that happen before.
Yeah, actually, a kid that we used to fish with, that used to run around with Mikey, actually dropped his phone out of his shirt pocket. He bent over to look down the hole for something.
And there went the phone.
The phone went down. Yeah.
And we were, being 12, 14 feet of water, it was long gone. It would have been long gone if it would have slipped out of your boot.
Yeah. Well, and we're trying to figure out, well, where is it? And then eventually I'm like, well, it sounds like it's in my pant leg.
It was. Your pant leg was ringing.
So I reached down, and it's within an inch or two of falling out of my boot, between my boot and luckily my boot or my my bib legs were frozen solid.
When we got back here at your house, your bottoms were frozen. So luckily that might have stayed, or else it was going to end up in two places: either in the water on top of the ice, or it was going to go down that hole.
Yeah. So I was frantically searching for the phone.
Right. Exactly.
You
gotta love technology, man.
Yeah. So at that point I thought it was gone.
You're right.
So speaking of gone, we need to step outside and take a break.
Let's do that.
All right. We're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, third segment of the show, everybody. Took a second here. We had to do a little reboot of the machinery. It's maybe it's the end of the year. It's tired.
I think you're gonna have to give it a bath and kind of.
I'm about ready to give this computer a bath.
Right, now you are. But you know what? We talked about ice fishing the first two segments of the year, but I think we need to finish up because last week we talked about the first 6 months of the year.
Yep. So wrap up the show talking about
the last 6 months.
Last 6 months of the year. So we're talking July on.
Right. Exactly. We were baptized into tournament shooting with Dan.
Yeah, that was a whole treat. We talked about that last week. That was in June.
And then going into July, we were doing Archery Classic
at Cabela's.
Right.
Yeah.
We which actually we didn't do anything because we had the grand opening the first weekend of August. Of the new Cabela's in Chesterfield.
That's right. That week was unreal. I mean, I was down there. I went down. I think it was on a Tuesday.
You went down.
That was VIP day.
Was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went down for that day and spent 3 or 4 hours in the store. Then we went down Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or not?
We were down there
Thursday, Friday, Saturday for sure.
Thursday, and Sunday. Because Saturday, Sunday was the days we were there. Okay. We were supposed to be there. Thursday we went
Yeah, for the grand opening. Or maybe it was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
It was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right on.
Thursday, we went as Up North Journal.
Yeah, that was the grand
and
opening.
And we live streamed the grand opening.
Dude, that was wild.
It was pretty cool. I'm telling you, it was. There
was a lot of people there. The way they open the store traditionally, like they always do, they have an archery somebody from archery.
And this time, it wasn't a quote professional.
Right.
They actually picked somebody from an outfitter from the store themselves, an employee, to do it.
Shot the target, broke the band to open the ribbon to open the store.
Right, exactly. And there was a good couple hundred people outside the store.
Oh, there's more than that. That place was packed.
We actually got a bird's eye view, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
And being right next to Selfridge, the A-10s did a flyover, so to speak.
Yep.
But that was a fun weekend.
Met a lot of great people down there.
You know, we met a bunch of new outfitters.
Yep.
We met the marketing manager at the time, George, and got to meet him. We got to meet the new general manager. Opening day, though, after the initial, that place was rocking.
It was rocking. And then Saturday and Sunday, we actually we were there. We made appearances there on behalf of Cabela's. We were working with Ralph and Vicky Cianciarulo.
Ralph and Vicky was there.
Archer's Choice.
Tim Andrus
from
Rush.
From the Rush, and also. Tom Nelson from American Archer.
Yeah.
So we got to
here in Michigan.
Hang out with some great people in the hunting industry and become a little more well acquainted with those folks, talking and kind of rocking our thing down there.
It was fun. It was a good weekend.
It was a blast.
It was fun. Just hanging out with those at lunchtime, going in the back and having some food and sitting down. Met a whole bunch of people, talking to young, talking to old.
The little guy
wants
to be a bear hunter.
Wants to be a bear hunter.
Their family follows us on Facebook. It's really cool watching that kid. I would drop him a line here saying, ask him how his season went.
Right, exactly.
Because that's what he wants to grow up and be a bear hunter. That's what he wants to do. So.
Yep, and that was a great weekend. We're now working out of that store. For Cabela's now. They've shifted us from Saginaw down to there. Yep. But we'll go back to Saginaw if needed.
Yep.
And that was the beginning of August. And then towards the end of August, Jim Beasley's.
Yeah, Bowfest.
And, Jim did not too shabby there.
Worked with Dan Yassa there again.
Yep.
From PSE Archery.
Right. He was there and hung out for the day. We had the Up North Journal tent.
Yep.
We had the archery game from Cabela's that always a hit.
Yep, absolutely.
And it was a good month of August.
And then we roll into September, and I got to plant food plots again.
Right, and I went up Labor Day because now my logging project has ended. Mm-hmm. It gave me the first opportunity to get in, and I had all my seed and my lime and stuff.
Oh, your fertilizer
and stuff. Okay. I had to put it down on the ground. And that was my first opportunity to get up there and do that. So Deb and I went up there for Labor Day weekend, and through some, I was just hoping to get something green to come up.
Right.
My expectations were 0. So I went up Labor Day weekend. We used the 4-wheeler. We did the best we can. We broadcasted the fertilizers. We broadcasted the seed, and that's where that ended. Mm-hmm. And believe you me, I was quite ecstatic when I went up in October to see green.
Absolutely. Well, I wish we had green that lasted. Our deer just totally destroyed all of our food plots.
Right. You had green that couldn't get above 2 inches tall.
Yeah, they just kept mowing it down, That was the story of the whole season, it seemed like, for us. And we've been dealing with that for the last couple of years. Just too many deer. So we're slowly trying to correct that problem.
Well, that's the thing, right? We've talked about this for the last almost 2 years now, talking about how you're doing QDMA and how I've just started this year by getting the property logged, getting some food plots in, doing some things that better helps out everybody, helps out the turkey, the deer, the birds, everything. So, but that led us into October. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, I was able to go up for my bow hunting week. And my oldest daughter, Kelly, she lasted all of 45 minutes of hunting.
Talking about getting the job done quick and being done.
Yeah, the first day, we went up there, took care of business. By the time we said we're going to be hunting, it was the first evening of hunting on Monday. Lo and behold, she's out there 45 minutes and shoots a 6-pointer. then she was done. But it was her first buck with a bow, and she shot it at probably about 22 yards. Interesting shot. Ended up shooting it at the base of the neck, which kind of cut the jugular. And it ran about 100 yards. It was fun tracking that one. You look back at now and, tracking it, and it just got better as it went, and we were able to recover that deer after about 100 yards.
It's when you go in and make short work of something like that.
Yeah, she made short work of it. All right,
that makes it makes for a good feeling for the rest of the season. It's like, okay, we're not eating tag soup again this year.
Right? Exactly.
So that's my biggest worry going into the season was what it was going to be like, the expectations. I didn't go in super confident this year like I have in the past. We just weren't seeing anything on trail cameras.
Yeah, you weren't seeing bucks on camera.
Yeah.
And the problem I was having, I was seeing all because I chose the combo tag 3 and 4 on one side up in the UP.
Right.
I can't shoot does.
Right.
So we couldn't shoot anything. But the only thing we were seeing were everything less than 10 different spikes. It just the deer were there. Mm-hmm. They just weren't big enough to shoot. The only one we did see was able to shoot. Kelly shot it that week.
Right.
So
but you took care of business after that.
Right. Exactly. And that was our October. Mm-hmm. You weren't seeing anything on trail camera.
No, I spent a whole week up there actually hunting. And I did go up for a weekend in the middle of the month. I saw 2 deer on a whole weekend, which I was just like, man, what is going on here? Nothing close enough to, either one. I mean, I could have shot one of them, but it was just a little dink, and it's like, it's not what I'm there for. There's no purpose in that. So, you just kept watching trail cameras and trying to put a game plan together going into rifle season. And then I spent that whole week up there, that last week of October leading into the first week of November.
Right.
A lot of rain again. It has actually got me rethinking what I want to do. This is 3 years in a row. That about that same time of the year, last part of October, I go up, and it's rained 3 years in a row, like for a straight week, and it makes it for really hard hunting to sit in a tree stand. I don't like bow hunting in the rain.
I'm not a fan of it, to tell you the truth, because
blood trails get washed out. If you're tracking,
and it's not like you can deal with snow where you can see it,
right?
With all the different colors of fall. Mm-hmm.
It's tricky.
It is. It's very tricky.
And if you wash that blood trail out with rain, and we had some good rain, so I just didn't have anything within shooting range. I had a couple deer I could have shot. It wasn't what I was looking for. And I'm not saying buck wise, even doe wise. We had some young does that presented a shot or two, and it's just like, we're here to kill the old does.
Yep.
And we're here to shoot the bigger bucks. So. I spent a lot of time in stand, but it just didn't materialize. But right. I did get to hunt with David Boggs.
You did?
Yeah, he came up and hunted with me that last week of October, which was really nice.
It is, and anytime you can hunt with David Boggs.
Yeah, you can learn so much from that guy.
Yep.
So that was a good time, and then we roll into rifle season.
Right, and then you headed off to camp. I headed off to camp.
Yeah, you got the job done quick.
Well, we get up to camp, and lo and behold, it's cold. Mm-hmm. No big deal, except when your pipes are frozen.
That seems to be a running theme this year with your camp and my camp.
I tell you what, we've had that camp now, I'm going to say 15 years about.
Okay.
Never had the problem. And I just had this discussion. Oh, no big deal. Big deal.
Yeah.
Got up there, frozen pipes. It took us a day and a half to get that all put back together. But I was able to finally get out and do some hunting.
Yeah, I remember I called you. How's it going? I'm playing plumber right now.
Right. My cousin was measuring. I was cutting, gluing. It just made for an interesting day and a half. Yep. But once we got that set, we set our sights on hunting. Mm-hmm. So we got out, and lo and behold, first day, I was able to get out there with the crossbow. Mm-hmm. First morning, I was able to actually get out there, and I shot an 8-point with the crossbow. That was nice. An hour in the stand, maybe an hour and a half. Was able to connect on an 8-point. That was nice. Didn't go far, which made it really nice. Mm-hmm. But we had snow.
Right.
So if I could have tracked it, it would have been no big deal. But it didn't make it 30 yards. The PSE did its job. The G5s did its job.
Nice.
So I was able to recover that real quickly. I took care of that. That was Monday of the week. Opening day of rifle was Wednesday. Wednesday morning, my cousin shot a 6-point. So I said, okay, I'll come out and help you get that. We recovered that deer pretty quick. It didn't go anywhere. And then I was able to go help out another a relative, resituate his blind, and get that all set up and say, here you are, you're good to go. And then I went and sat back in my blind, and an hour later, I shot another 8-point, this time with a gun. So, needless to say, it was a good 3 days.
Absolutely.
And then I was done. I was tagged out. I sat with my cousin the rest of the week, pretty much. And then we came home. And so that was, it's amazing. All this hunting within a week. Mm-hmm. It like bang, boom, 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 boom. So we ended up getting another 7-point that week. So we took 4 bucks that week. In September, my other cousin shot a bear. So he was
good
up,
season.
Yeah, it was. He shot a bear west of our cabin. So it actually wasn't a bad season at all.
That's good. Nice.
And that wrapped up my November, and then you actually at your camp kind of was behind last year's quota of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, last year our quota, we kind of did a trail cam survey last year, and we wanted to take 25 doe out. And we took 24, so we, for all intents and purposes, we met our quota. And there was some issues with some of the people wondering if we shot too many. Well, you couldn't even tell we shot anything because this year we were just covered up in deer again. And actually, after doing several surveys and averaging out what we were seeing, we figured we needed to shoot 30 does this year. We wanted to bump it up,
Well, because just exactly what we said.
Yeah.
Your food plots are getting no taller than this.
Right. And our browse line, the deer browse line, it's high. It's head high. I mean, hind leg head high for deer. There's no deer browse. It's becoming an issue, and we needed to start correcting this, and that's why we hit them so hard last year. But we did some things differently. We're going to try to target deer or does during bow season, and I'm the primary bow hunter at the place.
Yeah, you are.
And I didn't have opportunity. I put up 5 or 6 tree stands, and we've got some shooting houses that have windows that you can shoot out of. We got plenty of places to hunt, but in playing the wind and trying to figure it out, it never worked out where we could shoot any.
And plus, when you're up there bow hunting, it was raining.
And it was raining, yeah, on top of that. So it was just a really bad bow season. We go into rifle season and with nothing on the ground at that point, and we made a decision consciously amongst all of us that, okay, we don't want to blow the buck hunt up. So let's go ahead and hold off until after that first 4 or 5 days of rifle season, then start smacking the does. I hunted hard. I could have shot a doe that first week, but I chose not to because I was waiting for a buck. I seen 4 antlered bucks. 2 of them looked pretty nice, but they were in and out so quick I really couldn't judge them. Seen a lot of little does, and we had some people that started taking a few. Overall, we took 13 this year off the place, and it's like, man, we're like 50% lower than what we even wanted to be at.
Right, exactly.
So, now we're looking at it, it's like, well, what are we going to do? We've had some other people come up and try to help us out, and they're not seeing anything right now. We figure we've got an issue around there's some nearby people that are probably baiting and pulling deer off because everything's locked down right now. The snow's froze, the fields are locked down. There's really not a lot of food anyway. We're the only ones that really put food plots out. So we're dealing with that issue. They can't get to the food, so they're going where there is food.
They're going where the dinner table's open.
Yeah, we're not even seeing coyote tracks anymore, and we were covered up in coyotes. So
right, that kind of tells you the food source food source moved off.
Yeah, exactly, for coyotes and deer, both.
Right.
So we did go up. We had our doe management hunt. We brought 4 kids up from Indiana.
You saved the best for December.
Yep, we bring these kids up and give them an opportunity. They're from Backwater Legacy, and this is a reward for the work they do down there.
Yes.
They're chosen by their peers, and we bring 4 youth up, and they get to doe hunt at our place.
Yep.
And I go up, as a guide, but this year, during that hunt, as muzzleloader hunt, I actually took 2 does. So,
because you're using that bump stock.
Right, yeah. Okay. I see where we're going with this. Yes, I did. I killed 2 does in less than 2 minutes with a muzzleloader.
But it's possible.
Hey, you know what? You just got to be a quick reloader.
That's right.
When I shot the first one, she dropped. The second one standing there. I'm like, hey, you know what? Got a hot barrel, time to reload. And I reloaded. And there's the second one. I'm like, and she's turning, walking off. And like, well, go on down to the stand where I put this youngster down there with his dad. I put him in a stand. I was like, go down there and get shot. Bent down to zip my backpack up, looked back up. She turned and came back. And I don't know why. If it's curiosity.
I think it was curiosity.
Seeing me move or whatever, I don't know. But I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Pull rifle up, boom, dropped. She fell right next to the other one. I mean,
within 15 feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's like boom, boom, and they're like 20 feet from the 2-track. It's tag and drag up there, put them on a trailer, and go home.
Right, exactly. You didn't have far to drag
trailing.
That was kind of nice.
No trailing and no dragging. It was great. So, and not only that, that's the first first of any deer that I've ever killed where I didn't have to gut them.
Yeah. You made it an educational moment.
That's right. And there was a guy that was there that took a doe. So we had 3 deer down that evening, and we put them on a trailer, got them up, and got back to camp. And it's like, let's see if these kids, want an educational moment, because there was 2 of them that had never gutted a deer before. So yes, they got their hands bloody. So,
but it was an educational moment, right?
Yeah. I tell you what, we're bumping up on our last break here. Let's take our last break, because there's more to this story that we just found out last week.
And it's the end of the year.
It's the end of the year. So we're going to take our last break of the year. We're going to step outside. We come back, we'll wrap it up. So we'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like 1 pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Last segment.
This is it.
2017.
This is it, the last segment. We're never going to do another segment in 2017.
We're going to have a ball drop?
Good.
Have the big chandelier or whatever?
We could do something.
Yeah, maybe an antler will fall on us or something.
The arrow drop?
Yeah, right.
But
it was a good year.
It was a good ending of the year.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a good year all around.
Well, we had, kind of going back to last segment, what we were talking about. The thing we do at our camp, especially with the does, I try to do this with all my deer, is take them in, have them checked. Except for when they're closed. Do we want to get on a soapbox right now?
No, let's avoid the soapbox because we've all been there.
All right. Well, lo and behold, as we're coming back home, we're leaving camp, and I go by the DNR check station, the main headquarters for the northeastern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula, and they are open. So we stop and we get our 3 does checked. Another educational moment for the youngsters.
Yeah, absolutely. And these youngsters, being from Indiana, can see how another state handles things.
Yep. So they got to watch all that and what we do and how that process works and unfolds. And, we got done with our deer check. They take the heads and we send them in because in the area that we hunt, we've got TB.
Yep.
So we want to check our deer for TB. And they give us a little tag, and then you go on the computer he told us that was on a Sunday afternoon, and he said our results will be in by Friday.
Okay.
So I get on the computer Friday when I get back home. I check, everything's good and clean, no problems. My deer's at the processor, and I give the meat to the other deer to
right.
To,
you gave one of the does to the youngster to take back to Indiana.
Yep. So he had meat to take home with him, but I took mine into the processor. Didn't really have time to mess with it.
It was frozen.
It was frozen. So I just took it over. Long story short. The guy who shot the other doe, he called me one evening, that following week, and he said, "Hey, I just got a letter from the DNR of Michigan." And I'm like, "Really? Well, what did it say?" He said that my doe come back as suspect. And I'm like, "Suspect of what?"
Right?
He goes, "TB." And I'm like, "No way." I said, "Dude, I checked, because I had the numbers, and I checked his deer. And when I checked mine, his said that it was negative. Mine was negative. Both of mine were negative, and I'm like, that can't be. So I got online real quick and I checked his number again and it said suspect. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why in the world would they put up negative and then change it to suspect? I to this day, we don't have an answer for that, and I don't understand why.
Interesting.
Now, here's the deal. We're waiting. They said 6 to 8 weeks. They've taken the cultures that they took from the lymph nodes of the head of his doe, and they're seeing if they can grow it into that. I think it's a bacteria. TB is a bacteria.
Yes.
So they're trying to grow this in a petri dish to see if it is TB. Or if it was just sick and had whatever else.
Okay.
So long story short, we're waiting for those results to come back. In the meantime, him and I are talking on the phone, and he said, you know what? No, we haven't thought of yet. And I go, what's that? And he goes, remember after we gutted the deer that night and we went back to camp? And as soon as he said that, I knew exactly what he was going to say. I said, yeah, we ate the deer heart. I said, oh man. He goes, yeah, we ate all 3 of them. That's the first time I ever tried deer heart.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it was good. So, okay. Now you start playing all these scenarios in your head, and you're playing mad scientist. And
right?
Am I going to get bovine tuberculosis? And so I immediately get online after I got off the phone with him. I'm like Googling as fast as I can, symptoms, deer TB or bovine tuberculosis transferred to humans, and can you eat deer heart, with a TB infected deer and all this. Long story short, come back. Everything's going to be okay. They say you can't get it. You
can't transfer TB to a human.
Yeah, but they say cook the meat thoroughly.
Yes.
So
don't eat it raw.
Right. So, but I'm thinking, there's always still in the back of your mind.
Oh yeah, you think?
Thought of it. There's a chance that it could make the jump. You've heard of people, if you're cleaning a deer and you got a nick on your hand,
it gets into your blood.
It can get into your bloodstream. So I'm thinking of all these different things. In the meantime, your deer's at the processor. You've paid to have it processed, and maybe you have or haven't picking it up yet. Why does it take so long? I mean, I know why. There's time delays in between.
Well, because they got to get the head shipped down to Lansing where they do the... Yeah. We talked the animiddling.
They're doing 1,300 a day.
You're right, exactly. So get in line.
Yeah, so...
it's not something they could... You wish they could do it right on the spot, kind of, almost.
To me, looking back, it's more beneficial, I think, for people like us who normally... I didn't do it this year, but normally butcher your own deer because it's going to save you the money, number one. If you spend the money on that and it comes back TB positive...
You didn't spend the money.
Yeah, are you going to eat it or are you not going to eat it? I mean, right. I don't know,
You know what? I've seen different pictures of different types of the TB.
These deer were clean on the inside, dude.
Well, that's the thing, right? That one we seen just over here, the pictures of the one
Northern Oakland County.
Okay, if you looked at a deer and you saw that
is infected with it,
would you eat it?
No,
exactly. So, like you said, here you are looking at a deer. You look at the rib cage; it's clean as can be.
Clean as can be. Clean as a
That's
whistle.
the first thing I do when I look at all my deer.
Yep.
Well, because you're there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, rib cage is nice.
Yep. The lungs were clean as could be.
Right. So and my Kelly's October deer, it was so warm, I had to take it to the processor.
Right. Yeah. You're in situations like that.
It was like, okay, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
But here you are,
time butchering it right there on the spot.
Right. You come back, and then it's like, getting it taken care of, but at least you did the right thing. You took it in. You didn't.
Right.
You didn't, you found out.
Yep.
You didn't.
Well, we still don't know whether it even got TB.
You're still waiting for the final results, right?
Yeah. They said it'd be 6 to 8 weeks, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So you're still looking
4 to 6 weeks out. End of January.
End of January.
Right. So
everybody sits and waits, twiddles their thumbs.
Yeah. I've kind of gotten over that mindset. Hey, I eat a deer that might have TB.
Once they say, "Oh, you don't want to be the first known case."
You don't want to be, case zero.
We've never had this happen.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It happened to me.
Right.
But then I look. Okay, so what are the symptoms of TB in humans? And you start looking at that, and it's like, okay, well, how do they take care of it? You take medication, and they take care of it. As long as you catch it early enough.
Right.
So.
Exactly. So that's been kind of an interesting scenario that's happened towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
We've been talking. We talked to Anna about CWD.
Yeah.
We've been talking for years about TB.
Yep.
And about the CWD, that's a big thing going on right now. Even in the UP, coming over from Wisconsin.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk on the internet right now.
There is a bunch of talk going on around the internet about it, and then you have this thing pop up with TB.
Yeah.
So it's But
it's my first experience with TB.
Right, exactly.
First hands-on experience with it.
And it's not like it was very evident where you opened it up and said, "Oh, we got a problem."
No. Well, and even when we interviewed Anna Mitterling from MUCC, she talked about CWD, that every case that they had come back that tested positive for CWD, all but one of those free-ranging deer looked healthy.
Right. So
looked healthy.
You know, that's an interesting thing as we travel down this unique road of handling these diseases within our deer herd here in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know,
my question is, has it always been here, and are we just now seeing it because we're testing for it because of the captive deer farms? You know, because it's mandatory for them to be checked. You know, and she couldn't answer the question. She said, "We don't know."
And that goes right into the next into the cattle farms, right?
Yep. Yeah. So has it been here all along? Are we just now finding CWD because we're testing for it?
Colorado's had to deal with it since 1960s.
Yeah.
So they've been dealing with it, and everybody likes to go out to Colorado and hunt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know, and that's the other thing is, as I read an article this week talking about the big scare of CWD. It's going to ruin the hunting in Michigan. We're going to see our deer herd depleted. Right now, obviously we do have more deer per square mile than there is mule deer in Colorado. I mean, the density of deer is greater here.
Two different things.
But still, they haven't stopped hunting in Colorado.
Right.
Or Wyoming.
You learn to adapt and live with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta be smart.
Whether you be smart about it, and maybe you have mandatory testing, mandatory check-in. I think we're just starting the tip of the iceberg here as to how we're going to handle things and what's going to need to be done.
Yep.
And I'm sure the DNR's probably already got trying to get their hands wrapped about the whole situation.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out, we've got this, we got that, we got,
how we put these pieces of the puzzle together and make it better.
Right.
So,
but that was kind of the whole year.
Yeah.
And here we are ending it. And actually the story's not over for another few weeks that we know.
Yeah, for us anyway,
right.
for that deer. Yeah, but even looking ahead next week, I'm heading north.
You're heading north up to
Hillman.
Up to Hillman. Gonna handle that and check that out, and you're gonna see Anna up there.
Yeah, Anna, Dr. James Brucker, a couple other biologists and DNR officials. DNR is making an announcement at this meeting. It's actually it's a co-op rendezvous. Deer co-op rendezvous, and we're gonna hopefully get some information on some management, deer management, habitat management.
It's supposed to be an announcement coming out of there too, right?
An announcement, yeah, and hopefully if everything goes right, I'm going to be live streaming that. Keep your fingers crossed.
Right, you don't know the situation yet until you get up there. If everything's
the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
So as long as there's internet connection there,
exactly,
we will be live streaming. If not, then
you might be recording it for a later date.
Yes. So, but obviously, when we come back though, that Sunday we'll be talking about it on the show.
Yep, we'll definitely be talking about that on the show next week.
It's hard to believe that's a week from tomorrow.
I know. Well,
and when we get done with that show, our first show of 2018. 3 days later, we're heading to Indianapolis.
Absolutely. ATA, it's here. We'll definitely talk about that next week, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit about what we saw on social media when things are thrown out there.
You want to get my quote out?
No, yeah, I do, but I'm going to save your quote to next week.
Oh,
because
it's the truth.
It is. It really is. It really is. But I'm going to hold off on that.
Okay.
Because it's a funny quote, but it's actually
truthful. Absolutely.
And it was funny you mentioned that because Deb asked me when we talked about this a couple nights ago on the phone.
Right.
She asked me, she goes, "Were you and Mike fighting?" And I kind of laughed because no, I said, no, we weren't fighting. But it kind of made me think of exactly
the
what
conversation, the way it went. Yeah.
Right. So, but no, we ended the year going fishing today and catching
some fish.
Did we harvest the fish or did we catch the fish?
Well, we did some catch and release.
We
did some let them go, let them grow.
Yeah, there you go.
Deer Summit. I can't wait for the next Deer Summit coming up in March.
That's
isn't it March?
April, I think.
Or is it April?
You know what? We'll have to get Lincoln Roan. You know what? Matter of fact, that's a good idea. It's a good reminder. Get Lincoln Roan on here so we can talk about when that's going to happen. I think they're nailing down the prices.
Okay.
I don't know if they got there yet. I think they nailed down the date. We can always look that up. But I think they're nailing down the price. It's going to be there in Mount Pleasant again.
Yeah, and we're actually, I'm hoping to bump into some QDMA officials this coming weekend up in Hillman.
Right.
And we'll probably schedule some of those guys to talk, maybe get a little more information on CWD or,
what's ever going on.
What's going on
around
with
the
that.
state, right?
So get a handle on that. You know, I got to give a shout out PSE this year. You know, we got to shoot the Evolve 31s. You and I did. Best bow I've ever had in my hands. I mean, we always say it every year, but yeah, everybody just keeps making better and better stuff, and it's so much fun to be able to. I'm stepping back out again and shooting 60 yards pretty consistently this year. You know, that's been a blast.
You know, a big shout out to PSE, a big shout out to Black Eagle.
Black Eagle, letting them fly true.
I was using the Carnivore crossbow bolts.
Yep,
and I got my one of my 8 points with that. Nick Percy over
Killer Food Plots.
Killer Food Plots. Wow.
Yeah. That stuff is so good the deer won't leave it alone in my place.
And you're right. You know, they didn't even let it get 2 inches tall, and they were mowing it. Luckily, you had those grow cages to actually remind you that it was growing.
It was growing, absolutely.
But yeah, it's just amazing. So
yeah, we want to thank all those people that helped us out. You know, Tom's Custom Turkey Calls, who we bump into at the show every year.
Yeah, we're using those in for turkey season.
Yeah,
shout out to him. Definitely out to Cabela's, letting us go into the
stores and
bringing us into the stores, letting us do our things, letting us come out as Up North Journal.
Yeah.
Videoing the opening day. We didn't crash their servers.
Right. Well, we didn't use their internet.
Right. But definitely a big shout out to them. Hopefully this year we'll do more, getting them out there with Cabela's. Stay tuned for that. And then
Wind Scent Checker grenades and
Fourth Arrow
cam arms.
You got to use that out there. And
fabulous products, fabulous
the
stuff.
Different bases you were able to use. Yeah. And all you had to do is take the arm with you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was like, I got to go out and get my tree stands down, my braces down. You know, speaking of tree stands, Family Traditions tree stands that I've used for the last 3 years. Fabulous product, love that stuff. And actually, I'm hoping to get a couple more here pretty soon for this upcoming season. So
right,
you know, and I know there's other ones, people that we probably forgot about. You know, G5. I love rocking their broadheads, man.
T3s. I used them for the crossbow.
Yeah, that's what I got on the crossbow that my dad used this year.
Yep.
So,
but definitely a shout out to all our supporters that helped us out throughout the year.
Personally, I want to thank on my personal level Vortex Optics, best optics out there for the price and the warranty in the market. I'm telling you what, go check it out. But they're on my rifles. I've got their binos, got their spotting scope, got their rangefinder. I'm telling you what, man, the stuff is phenomenal. I want to thank Vortex and you know, everything. The stars align right again. Everything that we're looking at right now looks like hopefully we'll be with them again this year.
Exactly.
So Mossy Oak, you know,
Mossy Oak. Obviously, we use their patterns.
Yep.
We were using them today, even though we were out on the ice.
Yes, I did. I had the tree stand.
I had a tree stand as well.
You know, sitting in the ice house. So,
right.
Which they now have fishing patterns on shirts. The water patterns. I forget what they call it. Have you seen that stuff that they just come out with here recently?
Okay, you've got me perplexed. No.
Okay, after the show, we're going to go take a look at that because I'm telling you what, man, that stuff it's pretty cool looking. So you want to check that out. But yeah, we want to thank Mossy Oak for getting a great pattern, great product out there for us to be able to use and stay hidden in the tree stands.
Absolutely.
So like I said, there's probably 18 different people that we're forgetting.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and you know,
all the small little intricate things that we work with each and every day. You know, that we put out there and use.
And a big shout out to our families for letting us do this for another year.
You know, my wife Shannon, who will not come onto the show, we have tried to get her on. We've tried to get your wife Deb on, and you know, if it wasn't, even our kids, you know, our kids get in the outdoors with us, but mine right now are points in their lives where school and family, you know, raising their own family. I got a little buck snort,
right?
You know, that he's going to be traveling in the woods and the water with me here pretty soon. But you know, our families, what we do takes time away from our families.
Yep.
And they squawk a little bit. We get some grief for it, but you know what? For the most part, they don't say a whole lot, and they let us do what we do. And without our family supporting us, there's no way we could do this.
Deb and I get out there during the summer. We get out in the kayaks. We're out there together, having our little fishing competition.
Yeah,
you know, going at it.
Well, actually, I just told you today that this coming winter, I'm going to a seminar here in Battle Creek.
Oh, yeah.
2-day seminar.
Yeah, you're going to the burn thing.
Yeah, it's a prescribed burn workshop. It's talking about using your land and burning your land and getting it to regenerate. So
that scares me.
Well, it is scary. That's why I want to go to the workshop. I want to learn about it. But trying to get my wife to go with me
there you go.
And take a little mini vacation, so to speak. So
especially January and February.
Yeah, it's a cold time of the year.
It is.
Need to get away. So,
speaking of getting away, how about we get away for the rest of the year? Just get out of here.
We can do that. We'll wrap it up. So I'll tell you what. We also want to thank all of our viewers and listeners. Without you guys, we'd be sitting here talking to each other. So
right, exactly.
It's been a great year. It's been a great time talking, and all the questions and all the answers we've been able to give to you guys and gals. And
questions, we love questions.
Yep.
If we don't know the answer, we try to find the answer.
Yep.
But every Sunday, obviously this is Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
But stay tuned back for us Sunday nights.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll be back again next Sunday night and back on a regular schedule. But thank you guys and gals for tuning in and supporting us as well. So, and share the show with everybody if you can. Put it out there for us. Help us out. Get the word out. And
a viewer like Charles Byram.
Charles is on every week.
Right. And Dan Church.
Yeah, Dan. He's right around the corner. He's right around the corner here. It's
okay.
Yes.
Well, Charles is heading for the woods to freeze his you-know-what off.
Okay. Well, you do that, Charles. Put some meat on the table. Dan, thanks for tuning in as well. We appreciate it. We're going to sign off, and we'll see each and every one of you again next year. Y'all take care now. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plot Seeds, Attractants, and Supplements,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.